Okay, this is the head side of the test platform we put together here. We have everything spread out so we have easy access for our development portion of this. You can see it's on a rail, and we'll actually be able to slide this over and get it in position for print. So we've got everything set up on a test transport. Once again, this is the CMYK ink tank. I've got a lot of empty room here actually where we're going to mount the PCC board, head driver board combination that we should have in here shortly. Over on the other side here is where the actual universal ink meniscus boards are. And what we have here is a touchscreen display that you'll be able to see different settings, go into different operator and supervisor functions in the board. But basically right now what we have is a board that's controlling the ink levels, is controlling the meniscus, is controlling heat, and it's going to tie into the eventual special purge section that we need on here that's a little different than the standard. So actually I'm going to be working on that next week. Here you've got basically two boards that are kind of the heart of it, the electronics. Over in this section there's a master board and a daughter board. We can communicate with this with a PC. Matter of fact, most of the actual programming has been done remote over TeamViewer, and so it's pretty easy to access remote for troubleshooting and that sort of thing. What I have here, I actually have the vacuum off right now because of what I was showing earlier on the ink level. When I have the vacuum on, the ink's not falling out, so I took that off. So basically that goes into this plug right here, and so you can see on the screen, you can probably see the vacuum is starting to increase our set point. Actually, I overshot a little bit. Oops. And now it's coming back into place here. So that's doing the vacuum. Below that, you can see the temperature. I got it set at 40 C. It's actually running at 40.28. It'll bounce around a little bit. And there's an ink level tank in there that actually that's not running in here because it's going to be an on-off function, and it uses the same sensor we have for the CMYK tank. So you have, let me run through the components that tie into this. This is the vacuum pump that we have, so it ties into on the other side of the machine here. I have a vacuum manifold. Once again, this is for 4, but I'm only using 1 right now, so I've got the other ones plugged off. And then that goes into the top of the tank to control the meniscus in the little pocket that we have in for each color. At the bottom of this, I don't have hooked up yet, but it's the same kind of sensors as we have in the tanks that we're using right now. This is a meniscus flood sensor, so most of the time it should do nothing, but if for some reason we get a flood in the meniscus, it'll get ink in here. We don't want to contaminate anything else, so that'll shut the system down if we get ink in that tank. Got the other end of the vacuum here. If you kind of follow it down here, there's a bleeder valve that we use to we always want the pump running, so we let a little bit of air into the system all the time. In this board, you can see the meniscus goes into one of these sensors. We actually have 3 on each board, although the plan is for your system just to use 1 at a time for all 4 colors. Right here next to it is another output. You'll see them flashing a little bit. I'm not sure how well it'll come out in the video. It's a PID loop to control both the vacuum and the heat. So the heat, once again, is, if I go to the other side again, We've got our heating elements here to heat this plate. There's a thermistor here to monitor that, and it all feeds back into that system. The other thing, not necessarily part of our the milestone here, but while I'm shooting this video, we have right now the ink gravity feed system, and what we did is we made this so when you're changing the ink bottle, you can just unscrew this and screw another bottle in, and we made that thread in there actually a module for different size bottles. We can use different thread adapters if we want. That goes into this intermediate tank here, and so once again we've got flow going into this tank. It runs up above that sensor. Once again, it's the same kind of sensor we have in the head, and so when there's ink in the bottle, that's always full or near full. When we fall below that sensor, once again, it'll give a signal to the display and say ink empty. In the CMYK, you will obviously identify what color that is. So there's still a little reservoir of ink in here, and we can change that bottle while you're running. There'll be enough ink in there to run for a little bit of time while the changeover is happening. We have an ink filter here that goes to that little solenoid that I showed you on the back side. So let's see. I think that's the highlights of what we have here right now, and I'll send out a link to this, and we can discuss later. Thanks.